Let's imagine this. You're at summer camp. It's your first year. You're very excited. You're meeting all these new people, and you hear that there's a talent show coming up. Your friend and you have been preparing for days before you left for camp to make sure that your duet would be perfect. So you go up on stage to represent your cabin, and you're super excited, a little nervous, but you think, hey, I've got this in the bag. You start to sing and everything's going fine. It's spectacular, actually, until you have to hit a high note. Then your tricky little vocal cords decide they're going to give out on you, and you make a noise similar to that of a dying cat. You see some of your peers laughing at you, and you continue the performance, but at the end you're just mortified, and you hang your head low and walk back to the table, sad and ashamed. That was much like my first experience with any kind of public performance. As you can imagine, I was a little scarred by that, and for years after that, I really avoided all forms of public speaking. I hated presenting in class. I hated giving any kind of speech or talk in front of any group of people. It just really wasn't good. Public speaking and I really didn't like each other very much. After a number of years, I realized that public speaking is a part of life that I'm going to have to deal with just like everyone else. Everyone has to deal with public speaking at some point, whether in your profession or in your extracurriculars. Everyone comes in contact with that at some point or another. When I became the captain of my crew team, that's when I really realized that public speaking is very important. And if you're talking about something that you know about, it's really not as challenging and daunting a task as it appears to be. If I had to pick my number one weakness in public speaking, I would say it's when I have to speak very impromptu, when I don't get to plan much. This kind of goes along with my strength, because my strength is when I can organize. I am such a fan of to-do lists and organization. So when I can take the time to plan out a speech and even plan out when I'm going to do the impromptu, fun things throughout the speech, it really helps me because I have that outline and I'm prepared and I know what points I'm going to hit on and what I'm going to say. Whereas, like we did in class, the impromptu speeches, I get very nervous and very scared because I don't feel prepared and I don't feel that I have all my points together, that I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I pause a lot and sometimes I even ramble if I get confused. Sometimes I don't complete thoughts. Usually, just when I have to give these impromptu speeches, it makes me nervous because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But when I have time to prepare, I feel confident in my ability to give the speech. And despite the fact that I'm still a little nervous, I'm not quite as shaky and sweaty, and I don't make as many mistakes, usually. The most important thing that I think all of us need to remember, though, is that we need to play to our strengths and not worry about our weaknesses, because those weaknesses, we can fix them over time. Practice makes perfect, and that's the most important thing that we need to remember with public speaking. I'm living proof of that. If I had just given up on all public performances after that first thing, I would not have participated in my Christmas program at my church. I wouldn't have been crew captain giving speeches to parents and students, and I probably would be really upset about being in this class. So the most important thing that we need to remember is just keep practicing, because we will get better at public speaking, and this class is a very useful tool for that. Thank you.